Okay, good evening, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. You are going to be seeing this in the future. So, this is past Neil talking to you all in the future. Um, the internet gods are hating us tonight. I don't know what's happening, whether it's OBS or Twitch, but something is going wrong and the video stream just will not buffer for us. It's a disaster. So, we are playing the session regardless because I know my players do not want to have to wait a whole week to find out what happened after our delightful cliffhanger last week. And this is now on YouTube, which is where you're seeing it now. We are short a player so far. Tendai, who plays Aminata, is out being wined and dined by her beloved. And they may be joining us later on in the stream. But right now, we can get cracking. So, when last we left our heroes, the party had a very, very alarmingly busy day, having talked to the gendarmerie first of all, with Mina giving them suggestions and advice in preparation for the ogre, which was due to be coming to the town in about 3 or 4 days. They then headed back to the Tronque Forest. They're investigating this display of dazzling magical lights that was seen by Aminata and one of the other villagers previous night. They're trying to figure out what was the cause of this light and have theories that it might be what's in some way related to what's drawing the Fey in. They had a very eventful time. They met a dryad Fey of some sort who gave them all some messages and insights, including some ominous words of warning to Justine. And then they found themselves in an elven palace talking to an elf. They don't know how old she is, but she's still a bloody elf. Definitely a couple of centuries old and incredibly powerful. So that was alarming for all. Got some insights. She did admit that she's been doing stuff that has been drawing the Fae to the area, and also mentioned her opinions on humans' views towards the Fae and how that has been changing, especially as was shown by the recent conflict between the armies of France and Prussia and the military of Arcadia. The party then left the palace, were trying to find their way back, and suddenly found themselves beset by a swarm of rats. Racing from these creatures, they inadvertently went straight first into a portal into the Fey Realm, a place that mortals generally do not want to go into. They were there for what they thought was only a brief period of time, felt like only a couple of hours. They met some centaur, saw a flock, if that is the right word. We don't know what the collective noun for griffins is, but it was some griffins flying in the air. Met a very nice friendly rabbit named Trevor, who led them to a trio of humans, human witches, referred to as the Sisters. These three women who've been living in the Fey Realm for centuries, having escaped persecutions in their own hometowns and cities, and then gone on the road and met each other and decided to travel to the Fey Realm to escape humanity, and have been living there for several hundred years now. They summoned a raven. The party believes one of the ravens of the Lady of the Forest, this elf in the palace, who had said if they get lost, she would send a raven. And Gwyn was also gifted a little amulet, a necklace of some sort, a tiger's eye stone, I believe, in a simple leather tonguing on a silver backing. The party made their way. They were led by the raven back out into the mortal realm, back into the Tronque Forest at its very boundaries, and they raced back to Cherville. When they got there, everything had changed. There was large palisade-like defensive spike structures, wooden spike structure that had been erected around the edges of the town. There were signs of a building or a wall having been smashed down, and when they got to La Petite Auberge, the inn in which they stay, Marie, the co-owner of the inn, came up to them, giving them hugs, and gasps of exclamation because it turns out no one has seen the party for 3 weeks, and they had left Le Petit Auberge the morning of the 23rd of January and have returned on the evening of the 13th of February. So, returning their neshes. It's been weeks. We thought you were dead. We thought something had happened to you. That we know you'd said you told the gendarmerie that you were going back into the forest to explore those strange lights that had been seen. No one had seen you. We all thought the worst had happened, that you were dead, like so many others who have gone into the forest before. What happened?
That's it.
Sorry, so 3 weeks?
Yeah,
So
Well,
what
what
day
date
is
is
it
it?
today?
it's the 13th of February. You've been gone for 3 weeks.
It can't
But
Oh,
be.
okay. Wow.
It is.
we were only
Has
gone
the
for
ogre come through? Did the ogre come through?
And when you say that, her face goes dark and solemn.
What
Yes.
happened?
The
What
creature
happened?
the creature came, it arrived, it attacked the town.
Okay.
The men fought it off, the gendarmerie. They drove the beast away and it retreated into the forest. Two of the gendarmerie were killed in the battle, two others grievously injured, and if it wasn't for Dubois, God only knows what would have happened. He managed to shoot the,
those.
he managed to shoot the creature in its hand, knocking its sword out of its hand, and then got it a strike across the eyes, causing it to be blinded by its blood. And the creature, injured, grasped its sword and stumbled off, flying back into the forest. No one has seen it. Certainly, some of the
Sorry, I
farmers.
missed it.
Well, some of the farmers have certainly heard its bellows in the forest, and there have been a few attacks. There's been a few attacks actually. There was a couple of attacks on some of the some sheep in one of the farms, but it was a few days before the ogre actually arrived. Yes, so yeah, the ogre. I think 2 days, 2 or 3 nights before the ogre arrived, there had been some attacks of sheep on some farms. Since the ogre had arrived, there has been a few more. One or two farmers have lost cows. We know that was the ogre, and some sheep as well. No other humans have been hurt, bar those who were injured or killed in the battle. But
Turn to fight. Yeah.
we're just waiting for the creature to return. A lot has been happening. Um, as I say, there's the ogre. There seems to be more Lutien appearing around. I know that a number of farmers have been complaining that their cattle have gone dry. They're no longer producing milk. One or two farmers have gotten up in the mornings to discover that their horses had been run ragged in the night, finding them covered in sweat and manes entangled. Um, and at least um, two farmers have gone missing in the last 4 or 5 days. As well.
Wow.
And Madame Choisy, she's twice now in the last, I don't know, week and a half, 10 days, I don't know. Um, Twice now, while aiding women in childbirth, was attacked by some sort of strange fairy creature that was like darted out from underneath the beds of the women giving birth and bit her in the shins and ankles and then just disappeared. There's been so much happening.
But Madame Choisy, she's okay.
She
Yeah.
yeah, like it was just, she said it wasn't serious injuries but more startling and alarming, and especially when you're helping a woman in labor, it's not what you want.
Of course. Oh,
That is really strange.
Mm.
That is very, very strange.
I'm
Well,
speechless, really. We were in the forest, and there does seem to be a gathering of fey creatures in there.
okay.
So I feel like, I don't know, this could all get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I think that we should make sure that all of the villagers, they are giving offerings out for the Fae.
Mm.
I think pay proper respect. I think that would go a long way. Certainly, maybe not with the ogre, but certainly the fairies and other fays that might be in the area. I think that's a good idea.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
some of the older women in the area have been instructing farmers on charms and offerings. Unfortunately, it's for some of the charms. It's the wrong time of the year. The plants that you would use are not in season, so that there's issues there. But some of the farmers have
Yeah.
started leaving out milk and honey and some bread
Sorry,
and
Neil,
some.
I just have a question regarding what's in season. My druid craft cantrip, I can make stuff, right?
Yeah,
Would
within
that
reason. Like you're not going to be able to make the herbs that you would need to make powerful potions or tinctures or poisons or stuff,
No, I mean
but other
like
stuff, yeah. Like you could maybe grow a
rowan
sprig of
or
rowan.
something.
Yeah, that kind of stuff you could do.
Okay, so perhaps I could help. I can grow small amounts of plants.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, I am a druid, so
Oh, so I forgot. Sorry, I forgot, my dear. It's been
That's a useful skill.
yes,
I
it's
can't I can't make everything, but I can make some things. So,
Noted.
do
Okay.
you have a shopping list for me,
I might
Faye?
have a list for you.
We'll see what I can make, but I may be able to help with some of the charms.
perhaps yes. Well, so
So the ogre has been blinded,
it was on.
or no, just by blood, by the blood.
It took a shot to the head from Dubois that
I
seemed
see.
to temporarily. He didn't shoot at the creature in the eyes or anything, more in the forehead, and it the bleeding of the wound. I mean, I wasn't there. I was hiding here in the inn, but he said he obviously was regaling us all with the story of it that evening, and the villagers saw it happening, gendarmerie as well. Like as I say, if it wasn't for him and his keen shot with the rifle, who knows how many would have been killed. And even some of the gendarmes the gendarmerie who survived, some of them are still badly injured. One has a broken bone in the leg, another a broken bone in the arm. It'll be many months before they're fully healed.
That is an injury too severe, I think, for me to heal. Perhaps I could deal with the pain levels.
Well, Madame Chauzy, she's been helping with that too, of course, with her herbs. But yes, unfortunately, it'll just be a month or two of recovery before they are fully better. But yes,
What
I'm
time
going
of
to use
the
my I'm
sorry.
going to quickly use my lesser telepathy and just say to Sylvia that I am afraid the mayor may not be happy with us.
We are very sorry for being detained in the forest. A lot has happened for us also. Um,
It
for
was
us,
beyond our control.
you understand, it has only been a few hours since we left.
How is that possible?
It's just the way it is in the other world. Time
We
moves
have
differently there.
We unfortunately found ourselves in the Fey Realm. Uh, so, thankfully not for very long, but unfortunately, with the way these things go, for us it was only a couple of hours, and unfortunately, weeks passed here.
The fact that you were in that forest, ended up in the Fey Realm, and have returned at all is a miracle.
I wish that we could have been here, and I'm sorry.
Well, you're here
I wish we
now.
could.
You're here now.
Is
And
there anything we can do to help?
can you be here if the ogre returns?
Of course, of course.
Well, that will be of great help, I think, with your magics and with that one's axe pointing at Mina.
He's a halberd, not an axe.
It has an axe head on it. I'm not saying you're going to use it to chop down a tree, but if you could use it to chop down an ogre, then we would all be very happy for you. You know, I'm sure you'd have
Yeah, it's made for that.
yeah, I'm sure you'd have many of the men looking to court you and hope to get your hand in marriage.
Not really what I'm looking for, but okay.
Very well.
Wise decision, Mina.
Well,
I'm just looking for my brother, that's all.
um, honestly, you all don't take this the wrong way, but you all look terrible. You all look exhausted. You all look like you've just been in the realm of the fairies and have not died. Yes. So, would you like some refreshments and then an early night? Your rooms. No one has been in your rooms. Your rooms are still yours.
Oh,
Oh,
thank
you're so
you.
good.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, we
Yes.
haven't had any merchants or travelers through. So,
Oh, thank you. You are so kind.
no, not at all. Oh, so anyway, you sit yourselves down and yes, and I will bring you some. Are you hungry or just some? Would you just like a drink?
Starving.
Okay, right.
Whatever you have.
Well, I'll put something together. So you sit
Thank
down,
you.
and she, her husband comes along, eat with some wine and some bread that had been baked earlier that day, and some cheese. And he said, "Oh, my wife will be out with some proper food soon." And about 10-15 minutes later, she's out with some bowls, and it's some sort of a root vegetable type stew that she's probably just like, probably something that she had just on the stove, if you will.
Perfect.
So it's simple, but
Yes.
it will fill you. So yes. So it's a simple, as I say, mostly root vegetable stew. There's a small bit of meat in it. You think it's maybe some mutton or something, but look, it does the job. With that, the bread, the cheese, the wine, yous are sated.
Round.
I'm gonna glance over at Justine, just like, are you feeling all right after everything that has happened?
No, I feel awful. I feel terrible because of me and my decision to rush through those trees. We missed so much time.
We were being chased by swarms of rats.
Don't have any regrets.
If it hadn't been you running through there, I would have ran past you because I really hate rats.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
It was a good choice at the time. Don't have any regrets about it.
And the important thing is we are here now and we can deal with the ogre now. So
I hope we could do something. I hope we could atone for our absence.
We will. We will.
ogres
It's not our fault, we just got lost, that's all.
and I've learned much while we were gone, so we know the
We
cause
have learned a lot.
of
Yeah.
we know the cause of the lights, and this is what we set out to do, so it was a success.
I hope
We know more about your brothers.
fine.
Yeah, exactly.
She said we didn't
We
have
know
much
they're
time.
alive.
What was that,
I
Justine?
hope there is still time.
Hmm.
I hope there is still time because the elven lady said there was not much time left, and we were absent for 3 weeks. I just hope there was not damage done that couldn't be undone.
Yeah.
Time passes differently for the elves. Also remember that it could be a long time for us, but this is nothing for an elf.
I didn't think about that.
So relatively speaking, we could have a lot of time.
Exactly.
I
We'll
hope
see.
you're right.
We'll see.
I don't know.
Have to wait and
Justine.
see.
So yous all eventually head to bed. What's the plan?
I
think so.
Gonna go to bed.
I'm gonna go to bed, yeah.
As I'd said in our previous session, like the inn is very quiet. There's not a lot in the inn. Normally it'd be quite packed, but not packed, but there'd be, maybe 20-30 people, but there's like less than a dozen, I think. Like it's very quiet. And you don't see anybody you recognize. not that you know many of the townsfolk, but of those that you do know, like Dubois or the mayor, you don't recognize it. There's nobody that
Or
you...
like the old fellas in the corner. They're
Exactly,
always
yeah.
like,
Yeah, exactly. So,
what time is it actually?
it's probably at and about like...
Evening?
Yeah, oh, it is in the evening. It's like, you had gotten back to Cherville a little after 7.
Around.
So it's at least, like, I don't know, 9, half 9, maybe getting close to 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna head to bed.
Yep, gonna go to bed.
Okay.
Same.
So we all head to bed. All right. Good night's sleep, long night's rest. All right. And you wake up the next morning.
I want to get up like really early. Like, it may still be dark out, but I want to get up really, really early.
Okay. Are you trying to get out stealthily and not disturb Mina?
I am trying, yeah.
Okay. So
I don't want to wake her.
Okay, so then that's gonna be a dex roll. It's just you don't have hide or any other skills that would help you. So
Don't.
or
No,
or
it's
any
just-
or any spells that might help you. So it's just gonna be straightforward.
Yeah, listen, I just don't want to wake her. So.
See if I wake up now.
I know, natural 20.
Okay, with that nat 20, I'm gonna say she gets out. She doesn't.
Hang on, I'm just. Yeah, I rolled a nat 1, so you hear
Yeah.
it gently. You hear a gentle snore coming from Mina,
Yeah.
She rolled a natural 20. Amazing. Okay, so
yeah,
I'm gonna
you slip out.
I'm gonna slip out, and I'm gonna walk to the river where we saw the Undine.
No, that was a bit outside the town. That was like well over an hour outside the town. The section of river that she was at. The river.
Okay.
The river does cut
I'm gonna go.
by the town now, but just if you want.
Okay, I want to go. I want to go to the river. Basically, just that river.
Oh yeah, no, like the river does cut by the town, but yeah.
Cool. Okay. And I'm gonna so I'm gonna go like kind of away a bit. Although nobody's out at this stage, it's probably still dark. So I'm going to use my so before I do anything, I'm gonna reach inside my dress.
Yes.
There's I have a little chain and there's a small silver ring on that. I'm gonna take off the chain. I put the ring on my finger on my left hand, and I'm gonna sit down by the river, and I'm gonna start using my druid craft. I'm gonna start like making a couple of. I basically want to make a wreath.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna
using your druid craft. You start to summon various different plants up growing out of the ground.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to start with ivy because it's a good base to kind of tie everything together.
So.
If anybody knows flower language. So, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to just start kind of just softly, like I'm kind of looking around, making sure nobody's around.
It's very early. The sun's only just begun to rise, and you're not further out where there might be farmers getting up at sunrise to tend their animals. So there's no one around.
Okay. So I'm just going to say, just so you know, I wasn't actually angry with you for embarrassing me last year, but I did have a plan for this year. And I was going to bake a cake. Can't say it would have been a good cake, but I would have tried. But I also would have made something for you. I know you don't care about flowers, but I still wanted to do that. So I'm going to keep like making more flowers. So I'm twining the ivy around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to also add some red roses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then I'm going to add some honeysuckles as well. And some edelweiss, and then some forget-me-nots. And then I'm just gonna like twine rosemary kind of around it as well.
Yeah, so you make this beautiful wreath with this collection of different coloured flowers. The reds of the roses and the kind of that was it a violety blue is the forget me not as far as I remember, and it's
Yeah.
it's a lovely wreath rung with the ivy and the other flowers woven through it. You're beginning to hear a couple of birds beginning to sing their morning song. The sun has risen. It's still very low in the sky, but it has risen. It's light out now, but the very dim early morning light. And the only sound is the sound of your voice and the sound of the river itself.
Okay. So I'm just gonna sit there. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Our plans obviously went up in smoke, so literally, but I'm gonna play. My voice just kind of trails off, and I'm gonna put the wreath into the river and let it just float downstream.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm gonna like take off the ring, put it back on the chain, put it back inside my dress, and walk back
Okay.
into town.
Yeah. As you place the wreath down, the water takes it and quickly carries it off. And as it does, you just looking up, you see quite a colourful sight as you see a kingfisher dart off the bank, swoop down, and fly off in the direction of the wreath as well.
Okay.
Nice.
Dust off your skirts as you head back into the town. As you're walking back in, you can see oil lamps and candlelights and of houses as people are getting up, fires are being lit, people are starting their breakfasts. The town is coming alive in the morning. There's nobody out in the streets yet, but and as you get to the inn, you can see some smoke rising from the chimney. Jean or Marie or one of them, or maybe their new Fey friend is up and starting things. But when you walk back into the inn, you don't none of your friends are up yet.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna sit down and have a cup of coffee.
You sit down.
Well, I'm just...
So you sit down and you don't actually see Jean or Marie anywhere. And
Okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna sit there.
A moment later, you see a coffee cup floating across.
Oh,
And it just sets down at the table in front of you.
you read my mind. Thank you very much.
Yes,
I'd say at some stage, whenever I'll be coming down, going to church, you know, man.
Well, actually, Mina is probably the first one up because you are getting up to go to church.
Morning.
And it is St. Valentine's Day. It is the day of a patron saint. And you wake up, Mina, and you're surprised because you're on your own. You know, yeah.
What time is it? Did I miss church? Oh my god.
Sylvia's not there, and normally you are the first one up because you're getting up for morning mass. And you coming down. Jean and Marie are up at this stage, but you see Sylvia is actually sitting down on the tables, having a coffee. So yes.
Morning.
Oh, morning.
You're up. Do you
sorry.
want to come to mass with me?
No, thank you.
It's okay.
I don't think that I will. No.
Yeah. I'll send a prayer up for you. It's okay. See you later.
Okay, so eventually Amanata, Gwyn, Justine, you all get up as well.
Yeah.
Head down to breakfast.
Breakfast.
Sylvia's already down. She's having some coffee and she's having some toast, some eggs.
Did Mina wake you up when she was inevitably going to mass?
No, I couldn't sleep, so I went for a little walk and then I came back here and had some coffee.
Are you
I
okay?
understand.
I think after
Yeah.
everything that happened, I was just thinking a lot, so
Of course. Yeah.
I understand today in Britain, don't they celebrate this day, Valentine's Day? I know in some parts of You do cards and flowers and.
Yes, you ask someone you're interested in to be your Valentine. I don't know if they do that here. I
No,
don't know. I'll
but
have to check
I
with
knew an
Aminata.
American. I knew an American, and they told me about it. So I
Oh,
know
very
that.
exotic.
Ah,
Hmm.
But yeah, they told me about Valentine's Day. So I assume you will want to bring something for Juliet.
Gwen would ask Aminata, Neil, if they celebrate St.
so
Valentine's Day here.
actually, just as you're having this, Marie comes down and she says, "Oh, there's a funny little tradition, a love lottery, if you will. Lots are drawn, and the young man will lots are drawn for the young men and the young women, and the man will pick the young women that they are interested in, and they go off for the day having revelry, and the girls who are not picked by the men and who are left, they light a bonfire and put an effigy of a man on it to burn it."
Oh,
So,
okay.
yes,
Now
so
I'm interested.
yeah,
How did you get an invite to the second one?
it's well, I mean, I suppose if you're quite a beautiful young woman, I'm sure many of the young men would be interested in you, my dear.
Oh, but I'm not interested in them,
I,
believe me.
I suppose you could just refuse their advances.
Is that done here? You'll have to excuse me. I don't know French customs really at all.
Well, I mean, like, to be honest, it's a fun. This is like a fun form of courtship, if you will, and to be completely blunt and honest with you, for an awful lot of the young women from towns like this, they don't have a lot of opportunities in life. They don't come from wealthy families that can send them off for a private education in the universities of the
Of
city.
course.
So
Yeah.
finding a good young man from a good family who could provide for them is actually, for many of them, a very, it's one of their better opportunities. So
I know. The
obviously,
system is so unjust that way.
well,
Oh, jeez.
for a worldly young adventurer like yourself, I'm sure this seems very regressive. But if you are a simple young man or woman, um, these customs have been around for a very long time for a reason. They do work to some degree, you know. So yes. But from what I've heard, there's a certain blonde-haired beauty that has caught your eye, my dear. Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Is it my coffee?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hide my red face.
This is the year 1872. We're in a modern age. I mean, if you love somebody, you love them regardless, you know?
Well, you never know. Some places aren't so accepting.
I don't think you would. To be honest with you, the young Castillon Mademoiselle, she is quite the beauty. She's the most stunning young girl in the area. There's not a single, I'd say, man or woman who hasn't fallen under the spell of her looks, to be honest with you. Now, if I was 20 years younger, I'd consider it myself. And you see her husband's
You
off to the
should
side, and he's
still.
like, he's just kind of like, yeah.
Yeah. Same thing, like.
Well, anyway, yes, if you don't want
So is that what happens today then?
Yeah,
There's this
yes,
lottery. When does that occur?
I think it's normally around noon approximately.
Okay.
It would, but then again, I don't know if it will happen. Like, there might be something, but with this ogre attack, everybody is people
Of
are
course.
obviously alarmed and concerned for what might happen there. So, yes, yes.
I do think you should travel to Juliet so she knows that you're okay. I'm sure that she's worried.
Oh,
No, I couldn't.
To be honest,
possibly.
I would not be surprised if within a few hours news of your return will have spread across most of the town. I mean, look, the people in this town are terrible gossips.
Nina
We've
was here,
realized. Yep.
Nina would consider that quite a sin.
She's
She would.
quite a devout Catholic, and I'm French, and I'm saying that.
It's most unusual, honestly, for a
Although,
woman to be that devout.
but then again, I suppose didn't she say that she has some brothers in the Papal Guard? I thought I remember
She
her
did.
saying that before. So I suppose if you have family
Strange.
if you have family in Rome guarding the Pope, then maybe it's not that strange.
I don't know. That religion is no friend to women. I'm surprised she can sit there and
Well,
be spoken to.
I don't.
But it's, to each their own. I'm trying to learn tolerance for everyone's ways.
Well, I don't know what it's like with you Protestants. She says, gesturing to Gwyn and Sylvia. Because you're British and Sylvia's Prussian. So
Oh, I don't know anything about that awful tradition or any of them. Any of those awful patriarchal religions. No, I wasn't brought up in any of them,
wait,
thankfully.
aren't all the religions patriarchal?
Not all of them. Not all of the older ones.
Really? Oh, it's the first I've ever heard of that. Although you're a druid, Sylvia, so you worship the nature and the land itself
Nature.
more so than
Yeah.
any gods. Yes, so I suppose that's
But I haven't always been a druid, so
no.
I do understand
I'm
what
sure.
you're saying.
Yeah, so you were probably raised a Lutheran or a Protestant or something coming from Prussia. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Right. And what
In
about
another life.
you, my dear sister, turning to Justine? Was your family religious?
No, not at all. I'm coming from Flanders.
Oh no, I think we've lost. Who have we lost? Christina?
Christina.
Oh,
She's back.
She's back. The camera should reset in a moment. So sorry, my dear, you're from Flanders, yes. So not a particularly religious family, no.
No. I was raised Catholic, but
Okay.
not very religious.
Okay.
Not very practicing. My family would believe in God and go to mass occasionally, but I'm far from Mina.
Oh, okay. So, Mina, you had to the church, okay, and they've been done up. There's like it's obviously it's February, so there's no roses or anything to decorate the church with, but they actually have lots of like pink ribbons and stuff and little bows decorating the place, and Pierre Choisy, Father Choisy, he has he does a short mass, but then he gives a lovely little sermon about the power of love and commitment. And you've heard these kind of stories before about how if you're a good Catholic, you'll get married, have lots of Catholic babies, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
So after the service is finished, he comes down to you and he goes straight to you and says, "Oh my dear, oh it's so wonderful to see you. We were all so terribly worried that something awful had happened. We hadn't seen you in weeks. Oh, I've been praying for you every day for your safe return. Thankfully, the Lord heard my prayers and they were answered."
Oh yeah, he did indeed. He guided us safely back out of the Fey Realm.
And yeah,
Yeah, we learned a lot. So for us, it was only a couple of hours.
you were in the
So,
you were in the Fey Realm.
Yes.
What
very
did you
beautiful.
What did you see there?
Oh, a lot of very beautiful things. Yeah, we met some Fey creatures.
Did you see any giants?
No, we didn't see any giants.
Any
We saw-
unicorns?
I saw a couple of centaurs
Mon
and
Dieu.
there was a talking rabbit and
A talking rabbit.
yeah, no, it was very interesting. Like yeah, very interesting.
However did you find your way back?
Oh, we were guided back. Um, um, um,
Oh.
we had some help, and some of the inhabitants were really lovely, and they were guiding us back. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're truly blessed, my dear. The Lord was definitely looking down on you to protect you.
Oh yes, 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 indeed, indeed, indeed. I'm only sorry that we missed so much time.
Yes, well,
And so many awful things have happened.
we
Yeah.
we certainly could have used you in the attack with the beast.
I know. I'm absolutely gutted that I missed that now. Yeah.
No, but look, it's not. I'm sure this is all part of the Lord's plan, and
Oh yeah. Yes, indeed,
yes,
indeed.
but you're here now. You returned,
Yeah.
and and if that devil comes again, you will be at the front like the archangel Michael himself with his holy sword and absolute.
I will try my best.
Of course you will. Of course you will.
And the Lord shall guide my halberd, and it will be fine.
Yes, and a shining example to all, and who knows, maybe with you as a champion of light and goodness at the forefront, you might inspire your friends to come back into the fold to us all and join us here in the church. What do you think?
You see, it's not for everybody. They all have their own ways to, communicate to God. So that's up to them.
To be honest with you, it doesn't concern me, all these young people with their new strange traditions. To be honest, I think that's part of why we had that awful war there. People have forgotten the old traditions, and that's why those fools in Paris and Berlin decided to start the war itself. And people need to return to the old traditions, of faith and church and fidelity and fraternity and.
Yeah, I also respect the Fey, I suppose,
Well,
Yes.
I mean, obviously, yes. I mean, the church has always tried to.
They're really powerful.
We've always had a respectful distance to the Fae, and
Mm,
it's. I feel part of the problem was before the Glorious Revolution there was too much fraternizing with the Fae, and now it's gone the other extreme. But oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Suppose it's difficult to keep a balance, but where I grew up, we're very close to the border to
Of
Arcadia,
course.
and when people go hunting, they often cross the border, and so we kind of have a unique relationship with them, and yeah, there's many people like me who have some ancestors and Fey blood in there somewhere.
Oh,
So
there's nothing wrong with having Fey blood. I did not mean that at all. I mean, absolutely not. You're a devout Catholic. Absolutely. Of course, we welcome all into the flock. So yes, of course, yes. And you can see he's kind of like it seems like he's kind of worried that he might have offended you in some way, and he's kind of trying to backpedal now
yeah.
as well, because you know,
Noted.
yeah, because you're a very devout Catholic, and it's like you're a good 20, maybe 25 years younger than most of the other people he sees in church when it's not a Sunday. So it's like, yeah, it's like he wants to keep you on his side, definitely now. But
Yes, yes, yes.
but if you,
Now, excuse me, Father.
of
You
course,
must excuse me. I have to go to the post office and see if I got some letters from Rome.
oh,
Um,
very exciting.
then I have to go and I will have to come by and ask you if you could bless Albert. That will be. Is he looking very confused when I say
No, he's
Albert?
actually when you say that, he's really happy. Like, of course, I'll happily bless your weapon. Absolutely. He's like,
Yes, yes, just when, in case the ogre is coming back, that would be
of course, I,
brilliant.
I will. Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
yes, I mustn't detain you any
No,
longer.
no,
Thank
of course. Okay. I shall see you later, my dear. I will be busy out in the town, keeping an eye on the young folk with their frivolities on this
you.
day.
Yes, 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 yes. Very good, very good, very good.
Although I don't
Very good.
I don't expect it to be quite as excitable as it normally is. What with this ogre attack, and people are
Yes,
still
yes,
cautious.
yes,
So
yes, yes. It's awful, awful, awful. As I say, I mean, it's terrible, terrible that we got so delayed. But yeah, I couldn't. It couldn't be helped.
hmm
Um, yes, yes, yes. Well, I will see you around, and have a good day, Father.
yeah. Okay. Well, bonjour, and he waves you as you depart the church. So you head back to get breakfast. Yes.
I am, yes.
So you head back to get breakfast. You
At
can.
some point, Gwen just felt a shiver, like, ugh.
Oh yeah. I felt it.
So yeah, you head back, and the rest of your friends are all there finishing their own breakfasts.
Good morning. That looks all very lovely. How are we today?
Well, how was Mass?
Oh, very nice, very nice. They have decorated the church really lovely, and it was
I'm
a
surprised. I thought they wouldn't be into this
lovely
sort of thing.
sermon. And oh no, Saint Valentine is a saint. So
Oh, I forget. At home, it has such a
of,
pagan flavor.
of lovers and epileptics and people who faint. That's actually true. I heard that in a podcast this morning. And
And for our viewers and listeners, apparently the remains of Saint Valentine are actually buried in Dublin,
yeah, some of them
I've seen them
in
exactly.
in
Yeah.
Fish
on Ager Street.
yes, in a church in the center of Dublin city. It claims and is recognized by the church officially that is where the remains of Saint Valentine are actually buried.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now who knows who the actual skeleton belonged to, but there is a skeleton of a human that's been dead for a long time in a church in Dublin, and it claims to be the remains of Saint Valentine. So anyway, sorry,
I heard that too in the podcast.
I interrupted you, Mina. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So I'm kind of saying that. No. So he's so of course the church would celebrate.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so
I forget that they're saints,
Maria puts down some breakfast for you. It's just some toast and some eggs and such. So will you be taking part in the love lottery later today, my dear? She says to you, Mina.
Of course she will, and I'll just nudge her.
What?
Oh yes,
We're all going to do it, of course.
it's a tradition. It's
No, they're not.
it's a
Come on,
it's a
Sylvia.
French tradition, my dear.
The tradition.
There is lots drawn, and the young men will pick women that they are enamored by, and the women who are left over that are not picked, they go off and create a small bonfire and burn an effigy of a man.
Interesting.
Sounds delightful.
Yes,
I don't think. No.
this one pointing at Gwyn is really excited about
Yeah.
the bonfire idea. I'm very excited
Yeah,
about that.
Reminds me of home. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine you are. Well, no, I won't. I won't participate. Albert is the only man I need in my life.
Who Albert? Who's this Albert? Is he from back home in Switzerland?
Oh no, that's my Albert's name is Albert.
Oh, I was like, I didn't know if you were going to be having gentlemen callers coming, and we're not that kind of establishment. You get those kind of boarding rooms in Paris, maybe, but not down here. No.
My weapon's name is Albert.
I see. Albert the Halberd.
Exactly.
Armina is a very good girl. She wouldn't be into any of that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I will try to
Who
change
comes
that
close
this
to
evening.
Ogre? Nobody.
Well, if you have a big halberd in your hands, no man is going to come close to you. That's for certain. Yes, you can stay quite the chaste maiden.
Well, no man, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah.
Right.
Others might not be quite at that deterred, but like, yeah, no, he's all I need.
I see. Very good. Very good. Well, if you'll excuse me, I have some work to do around here. I suppose just don't be surprised if the gendarmerie or the mayor or someone turns up now that you're back. But and we'd appreciate if you don't go too far. Maybe stay out of the forest.
Good idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were told
So-
to investigate it. That's all we did, you know.
Oh, I know, my dear.
And we found out loads.
One doesn't plan to end up in the Fey Realm or talking to an elf in a palace. These things
Wait,
happen.
you wait. Sorry, did you say an elf?
The reason they are all coming close, yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
there's an elf in a you were
Palace.
talking
In the palace, yes.
in the Fey Realm.
No, this was
No,
in the
no,
forest
that's
before we
Wait,
went through the Fey Realm.
there's an elf in a palace in the forest,
Yeah.
and she just blesses herself as Monsieur.
That's not going to help.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was literally just thinking that.
We are truly connected by telepathy.
I thought the elves were all gone. I thought they fled in the revolution.
Yeah.
That one decided to stay, and now she's like, I
Must,
guess she wants her family back or her some more company. So
she must
she's,
be. She must be hundreds of years old. An elf.
Well, yeah, they live for a very long time.
But they're like an elf.
The late king of Arcadia, he lived for centuries.
I know. The Europe, the whole continent was shocked when he died. He'd been the ruler of that kingdom for what, 600 years or something. I don't know. I don't.
Yep, something like that.
So there's an ancient elf, thousands
And I
of
don't
years.
think she's
We don't know
she's
how old
ancient.
She's
is,
thousands
but-
of years old, living in the
No.
forest.
She is living in the forest, yeah.
And you're saying that she's the one who's summoning all of the Fae.
Well, she is like, they're gathering to her, I suppose.
So what are you all going?
Feel her presence.
What are you all going to do to stop it?
Well, for the moment, I think that we should observe the old traditions, respect the Fae, keep a distance, and hopefully things
You
will
have a
calm
lovely helper
down.
here, so you're okay. And anything else, well,
I don't think that we should fight this elf.
and we have not a hope. But she's not interested in having conflicts with humans, so
No, she
she's
just
quite
she
happy for us to help out, and she's not. She said so, didn't she, Sylvia?
no, but she did say that she feels that since the war, that humans do not respect the Fae, and I think if we all here shows that we do respect the Fae, it should be fine.
I see. Okay. This is a lot. I thought there were no elves left in France. I mean, obviously there's humans with elven blood in them, but I thought there was no actual elves left in France. I thought they all fled or were killed in the revolution.
Yeah, seems some decided to stay. Probably in remote places like that one is,
I
that
see.
palace here.
Well, it is it's an ancient oak forest. It's quite vast. So, if I was an elf who was going to have a palace in an ancient oak, like a palace in an ancient forest, would be an elf. And she just like turns and she's like she just Hebrew keeps an elf. I can't believe it, an elf, and walks off to her husband.
Having the old stories and observe like the older traditions, and as you said, like, yeah, maybe leave out some offerings and just be respectful and things should be okay.
So she's now gone at this stage. So it's just ye. So, what would you like to do?
Well, it sounds very exciting.
I need to go to the post office, but what about you? Do
Oh,
you
make sure you're back by noon.
do you
That's
guys
when all the
do you
excitement
have
starts.
Oh yeah. So are you participating in, well, looking at Gwen now? I
Absolutely.
guess you are not Yeah, you probably participate in burning the man, but
I
like
will
as
lead the
one
charge to the
will
Wicker Man.
execute it.
Yes.
But what about you, Justine? Sylvia, are you guys guys?
Oh, come
No.
on.
No?
It'll be
No.
fun after everything we've been through.
I
Wouldn't it be
don't.
nice to just dance around a bonfire?
No,
Well,
I don't.
right,
I don't dance, and I don't.
You might meet someone.
don't dance.
No,
Everybody dance.
no. I don't dance, and I make
And you
fire.
don't meet
No,
people.
I don't think so. No, I think I might go and visit the people who were wounded, see if I can help.
Yeah, that's a good
Um,
idea.
Oh,
I
I
can't.
actually can go with you. I'll
Oh,
assist as well.
oh, I will be doing this while you're at your party.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't.
Well,
I won't be going.
are you
And
I
sure?
can go with you if you don't mind.
Brilliant.
Want to go
Yes. Yes, that would be
because
excellent.
wait, hold on.
I'm not.
Is Justine saying she go with Gwen or Sylvia?
No, Sylvia.
Yeah.
Oh,
After
gosh.
everything that happened, I'm not in the mood for fun. I can't stop thinking about my brother and all the people that died.
I'll
and
burn
Fey
the
Realm.
man, and I understand. I mean, I'm thinking about my brother too, but that's why I'm trying to distract myself. And I'll come to the bonfire with you, but
Brilliant, Mina.
that's much later.
And Amanat is eager to join Gwen in this. She thinks this sounds amazingly fun. So, right. So, I suppose, Mina, you do head to the post office, okay? The postmistress recognizes you. She remembers you, obviously, because she remembers everybody, and you're one of the new outsiders for the town. There is no letters for you yet, unfortunately. Now, that's like,
Another one quickly, just I'm like,
yeah, of course. Now, I mean,
I do. Why don't you answer me?
you are used to this. Your brother is pretty awful at replying to your letters. Like, you might often you might have wrote 2 or 3 to him before he gets one back to you, and he always, yeah, he always blames his duties as a papal guard. But you know that's,
They both are terrible.
yeah, yeah. Like they use that as their excuse, but you know that's complete bullshit. They're just crappy brothers. You know what exactly they're like. It's nothing to do with their duties at all. They're just.
And they always think the other one wrote the letter, and
Yeah.
then the other one thinks the other one
Yeah.
wrote the letter, and I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
writing, going like, guys,
Yeah.
I don't know how long I'll stay here, and I don't know where I'm going after this. Just right back.
Yeah. No. So like, as frustrating as it is, you're like, God damn those two. I hate them so much. You know, like stupid brothers. So yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, so you head off to that. You get back, and Gwyn. When you get back, Gwyn and Amanada are waiting, and you can see there's some sort of a crowd gathering a small crowd is slowly beginning to gather in the town square. Okay, it looks like nothing's kicked off yet, but something's probably going to happen in the next half hour or so.
Nice. I go braid my hair with nice ribbons. And,
Okay, cool.
you know.
Make yourself look
Your
pretty.
hair looks gorgeous.
So, Sylvia, Justine, where do you want to go? I mean, I know you said you want to go to the men who are injured. You were told that Madame Choisy, the village healer, had been tending to them.
Okay. I might go to her first. Yeah, I'm gonna go to her and try and find out a little bit more about I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so Justine, you and Sylvia, you head down towards Madame Choisy's cottage. You get there and you could see spring flowers are beginning to emerge. There's a lovely spread of snowdrops that have appeared around the in the beds, first flowers of the spring. And when you see it, Sylvia, it reminds you of the flowers that you created this morning for the wreath that you released in the river.
I was researching today. I know exactly what snowdrops mean.
So, how does Sylvia feel when she sees the snowdrops?
Well, it's not. So they're supposedly new beginning and overcoming stuff, and Sylvia's just like, oh, fuck off.
No,
Absolutely.
Is that what they mean? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So the new beginnings, new starts.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Spring. Yeah.
So as I said, how is that making Sylvia feel? Is she angry? Is she sad? Is she like?
She's like sad and a little bit angry, but mostly just really like sad. But she's not saying anything.
Justine, can you give me an awareness roll, please?
Okay.
Unfortunately, you have an awareness of 0, so this is a straight D20.
Give me a second.
Yep.
It's 14.
That was the target number.
Okay.
As you are getting to the and you see, I can't remember if you've been in there. You might have briefly visited this house before. This is the cottage that the village healer, Madame Choisy, who's the sister of Pierre Choisy, the parish priest, she lives here, and it's a real like wild cottage garden, and you can see there's a lovely spread of snowdrops that have just emerged, and as you get to it, you see Sylvia seeing them, and you see this brief but powerful, strong flash of emotion across her face as she sees the flowers. And then she kind of shakes her shoulders as if to brush it off as she continues on towards the gate. So you get to the gate, you knock on the door, and a moment later, Madame Choisy, the village healer, comes to the door. It's a short, plump built, the grey hair and a plait that she winds in a bun, with her little oval glasses person on her nose as she sees you. Bonjour. Oh, it's yourself. It's quite a shock to see you. I thought you were dead.
No, we were detained in the Tronqué forest. There were many things that happened, but I understand the ogre did attack, and some men were wounded in
Yes.
in the attack. You have been treating them, so yeah.
As best, 2 men died. 2 men were slain by the beast's sword. I mean, its sword was monstrous. It was nearly 2 meters long, and it was using it with one hand.
Well, ogres are quite vicious fighters.
I've never seen one before. The only Fey I've ever seen in my life is the occasional Lutien bouncing around in the fields, maybe, or a will-o'-the-wisp, a Fuffalet. I've never seen
Yeah.
any sort of giants or.
I understand ogres are quite terrifying to when you see them. Yeah.
Well, I didn't like as soon as I saw the creature, I raced indoors. But yes, two of the gendarmerie were killed. Two others were grievously wounded. One we thought he was going to lose his arm, but I was
Okay.
able to create a poultice to seal up the wound, and
Yeah, and maybe set the bone as well. I understand the bones were broken.
yeah. So it was, first I was trying to stop an infection that would require amputation, which I did. The muscle is slowly knitting together. The bone is slowly knitting together. Another one, he shattered his femur. That
Lucky he didn't die of shock.
I know. He's very lucky. Strong man, strong young man, but he's going to be probably another 9-10 weeks at the earliest before he is recovered. Yeah. So
I do have some magics of healing. I was wondering, perhaps I could help.
they might help
cannot-
with the wound, though. Cut the cut,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know though. Now, and I will say this to you now, Susie.
I know I can't.
So
heal a
like,
broken bone
and
yet.
also to our viewers and listeners, there is a critical injury mechanic in the Fey Earth system. You have minor and major critical injuries. When a person suffers, when you roll an at 20, it causes a critical injury. A minor critical injury is a minor impediment, maybe a penalty to attacks or movement or something, until you take a minor action to banish the wound or receive healing. If you are very unlucky, you have a major critical injury. Major critical injuries are things like broken bones, broken humerus, broken femur, severe concussions, broken ribs, internal bleeding. And these injuries require the regeneration spell, or the restoration spell for some of the head injuries. And the regeneration spell is a powerful 3rd level spell, remembering that the magic system in Fey Earth only goes to 5th level. So these are very powerful spells that you can use to knit back broken, shattered bone, and regrow limbs. So these injuries that is being described by Madame Choisy, are beyond your. That you, with training, you may get to the point where you would be powerful enough that you could use magics that would heal these injuries right now. But at the moment, the magics that you have and that Gwyn has would help with minor cuts and minor injuries, but that would be all you could do. You could help a little bit, but you're not going to be able to help with broken bones. So
I'm just trying to get out of this whole love lottery thing, so yeah.
Okay. So years are off there, and Gwyn, Mina, and Amanada are heading off up towards the square. And you're kind of looking from a distance, okay? And you realize, okay, so basically what's happening is there's a big pot, like a cauldron or something. And you see the mayor, and you see a few other people, including a very, very very finely dressed man in like his mid-50s, steely grey hair, really strong masculine features, real silver fox, loaded, clearly wealthy. You assume this must be Monsieur Millet, who owns the brass mills. And what appears to be happening is they're calling all the young men, okay? And you realize, okay, this is actually a holiday. Clearly nobody's working in the factory today, nobody's working in the mine today, because there's actually a big crowd that's formed here, okay? The largest crowd that you've actually seen in the town. And over the next hour and a half, all of the young men, and when I say young men, I mean like guys from maybe 16, 17 up to about 21, 22 are being called, because most of the guys who are 23, 24 or older, they're married at this point, But these are all clearly single men, bachelors. And they all come, and then they pull a little piece of paper out from the cauldron, and then they read out the name of the girl. And then they basically are deciding, okay, am I going to go and take her hand or not? And it's horribly misogynistic, okay?
That's Horrendous.
It's really
Jesus.
it's really horribly misogynistic, and as you would expect, excuse me, the really pretty girls, they all are getting snapped up like that. And the plainer girls, some of them yes, but some of them are being left to the side. And yeah, after an hour and a half, it's done. You do note that one name, well, none of your names are called out because you're not actually local to the village. And one name that also did not appear in the lottery was Juliet Castillon. Her name was not called either.
Oh,
So yes,
that's weird. Do I see her in the crowd?
give me an awareness roll.
Ugh. What the heck is my awareness? 6, 7.
Total.
Yep.
No, you don't see her in the crowd. Okay. And after the lottery is finished, there's about, I don't know, maybe a dozen or so young girls off to the side. And they're kind of, some of them are looking a bit upset. And some of them are looking a bit angry. And they're, you see they're standing off the side. And there's some wood that's being piled up. And you see there's a bunch of them have some straw. And they're working it into an effigy, like a human, not human size, but human shaped figure. And
I'm enthusiastically helping.
yeah, so as you come over, they're like, oh, well, this one, she would have been picked straight away, pointing at you, Gwyn.
Now, remember, they need us more than we need them.
And
Men, ladies.
one of the girls, and this is the thing, she's actually kind of pretty. She's kind of a bit more heavy set, but she's actually really pretty. She's got lovely blue eyes, and it's like when you say that she smiles and there's a beautiful smile, it's like, she's right. She's right. They do need us more than we need them. These men are useless, okay? Absolutely
They're useless on their own. What can they do?
I remember there before Christmas, my mother, she had to go visit my aunt, her sister. She was gone for 3 days. I was busy. I was crazy busy doing stuff. My father and my brother were to cook the dinner. They nearly burnt the house down.
Men would starve and live in squalor if we didn't take care of them. We have much more power than we know. We do not need them. They need us. So I think we should celebrate how great women are tonight. Forget about these men.
Yes, yeah, and you can see her actually. The girls are like, they're really loving this talk, and you're actually getting some of them riled up. And it's like,
I clap enthusiastically.
Yeah, it's like,
Absolutely, ladies. Absolutely, ladies.
Burn all the men.
Yeah, burn all the men.
The effigy. Burn the effigy.
Yeah.
The only thing we need is a good weapon, ladies.
Yeah, and so they're like, oh crap! Has anybody got a goblin spark to set this on fire?
I can help with that.
Yes, you.
Yeah. Create a little poof in my hand, a fire, and
throw it at glass of exclamation as you magically conjure a flame and you throw it at the fire and immediately imagine like, huzzah! And they're like, and then they like dance around the growing bonfire. We're not talking massive, okay? It's fairly small. It's about 1.5 meters wide, okay? It's not crazy. Big bonfire, but they're dancing around with the effigy and they're shouting, "Burn all the men! Burn all the men! Burn all the men!" And they do a few laps of the fire, and as I guess a good size, the girl who's holding it, like throws the straw man into the flames, and it immediately ignites. Like, hey! And one guy's like, "Let's all go get drinks!" And So gesturing to the inn, and you all head over to Le Petit Auberge. And it was like there's about maybe 14, 15 young women at this point marching all the way to the inn. And you've got them very riled up now. So just.
Can I ask some of them on the way? Do they know where Juliet is? Have they seen her?
No, no one has seen her yet.
How far is her farm?
Oh, it's like
From
a
the
good
village?
hour and a half.
Oh,
Yeah. So anyway, but so you head in, and Marie comes around with some drinks, and Sylvia and Justine, you come in and join them. And there's a big group of young women who are yeah, drinking, and they're getting fairly riled up, you know. Um, so yeah, and you sit down. Sylvia, Justina said you come down and you join them. Um, how does Sylvia, Justine, how do you react when you see this group of women, and a few of them are gathered around Gwen and they're chatting to her, and it's almost like treating her
this
like
is how
almost.
the suffragette movement started in France.
Yeah, they're
Win
very
single-handedly.
they're very much treating Gwyn like a de facto leader of this coven, if you will. So, but as Sylvia, Justine, how do you react when you see this?
Well, Sylvia, oh, sorry, Justine sort of expected something like this. She didn't expect anything else. I think she's a bit more concerned about Sylvia, and she's kind of giving her kind of side looks, but trying not to be like too obvious about it because she clearly has no idea how to like approach her. If she should approach her, she's just trying to like make sure Sylvia is okay.
Okay.
Sylvia is just like she's gonna send cantrip to Gwen like, well, that didn't take you long.
Yep. That's what
All this stuff is very close to the surface, and a lot of women, you know.
that's within the 8 words.
My ladies, around for my ladies. I'm going to the bar and getting around for all the ladies.
Sylvia,
All the
Yeah.
ladies.
Sylvia, can you give me an awareness roll, please?
Oh, okay. That's a 4 or a 5. I
Okay.
can use keen eyes, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna make a difference. Okay, so yeah, you get around. You are gonna have to pay for this if you're getting like rounds from all. It's gonna be maybe a gold for enough for everybody, you know, because there's a lot. Okay, and so you are having your drinks, and things are.
All the single ladies.
Yes.
Can I ask the landlady if she's seen Juliet or her family?
And she says, no, I haven't. To be honest, the Castilians don't tend to come to this thing ever. I don't think I've ever known the young girl's name to be called out. They're a very quiet family. Like they're good neighbors to the other farmers around them. Always willing to help out, but they very much keep to themselves. It would
They
be.
were okay after the attack, weren't they? Did you hear anything?
I haven't. Oh, trust me, if the ogre had attacked the family, we would all have heard of it. And I haven't heard of anything of them or even their livestock being. A few farmers have lost livestock, but the Castilians have not been attacked. No, by the ogre, or I don't know if you heard, but actually a night or two before the ogre arrived, there were some sheep attacks in the area as well. But yet again, their farm was not attacked.
Okay, that's good.
Did you enjoy burning some man?
Yes. If only we could have put some real ones in there.
And as you say that, there is a and turning around and looking, you see Mayor Suavre. Gwyn, surrounded by the women, had literally just said, yeah, it's a shame we couldn't burn some actual men, and then heard a cough as standing right beside her is the mayor.
Oh, girl. I'm like,
wait.
wait.
Got a bit excited. At
the same time, I probably would have been there like, yeah.
Yep, you were.
So
and
Aminata was there as well. So
yeah.
Okay, folks. So we are back. So yes, Tendai.
No, I just had a quick question in
Yeah.
terms of the traditions. Would Lupercalia traditions have been closer to the timeline we're in?
I honestly don't know. I'm going to be straight with you. I was explicitly looking at Valentine's Day traditions and not other traditions that are kind of associated with it, because once you start getting into that, it's actually kind of messy. Like it's when people say, oh,
That's
like
it,
the
look,
the, the,
they
the
are like,
Christians stole Christmas off of the pagans and Mithras, and then you actually look and it's like actually Mithras wasn't a sun god, and so I just kept it straightforward. So I honestly can't say, but by and large there's not. Oh, you did also miss Sylvia on her own. Got up very early in the morning and had a moment by the river where she made a wreath of flowers, ivy, roses, forget-me-nots,
Oh my
edelweiss,
god.
and honeysuckle.
Rosemary, honeysuckle, edelweiss, and
very specific.
ivy.
So I'm probably
Sorry.
I'm probably the last one for this to occur to.
Sylvia didn't tell anyone she was doing
She did this all on her own. She
and
got up
nobody
nobody
No,
was there.
didn't tell anyone.
No, I understand that, but I don't know if anybody else has thought it, but if anybody else has, I'm definitely the last. But this dryad that Sylvia spent time with, could this be the heartbreak that she had suffered?
You don't know. But yeah, so she had a
I'm not the only one who speculated that, right?
she had a quiet moment, a brief, very beautiful moment, talking to somebody who appears to be gone, and conjured using her druid craft of cantrips these wreath that she made of these flowers and set it on the river, and it flowed away. And just as it was sweeping away, a kingfisher appeared from the banks and swooped over the wreath. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
I'm sorry. That sounds very.
But Aminata was not there. Sylvia was entirely on her own. And
No, Sylvia wouldn't fucking tell anyone.
No, this is definitely me out of game. It just literally like dawned on me, and I'm like, have I just been like so dense to not have seen this?
The only one who has noticed that Sylvia's out of sorts is Justine. Is the only one who's actually noticed. Okay. And Sylvia has not noticed that Justine has noticed. Based on those.
You don't want Sylvia to know that Justine has noticed.
Yes, but but the thing, Justine is like kind of socially awkward, so she's not necessarily going to be the best at masking things, but Sylvia is so introspective today that she hasn't even picked up on the fact that Justine has noticed. So
and Justine has been all over the place anyway. So
yeah. So anyway,
even if Sylvia has noticed, I would say Sylvia has, how do I say it? Sylvia probably thinks that she can hide emotions a lot better than she can actually hide them.
Yes, probably.
I am so good at disguising this, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, are they okay?"
Ivy, honeysuckle, edelweiss,
and ivy,
and forget-me-nots. That was it,
Roses.
I believe. Oh, and roses, red roses,
and rosemary.
And rosemary. Yeah. So anyway, so
there were 6.
Tattoo.
So we are back, folks, and we have Tendai back with us for our last. We'll probably only be playing for another 20-30 minutes max, because it is quite late here in Dublin. It is a school night, except for me, because I'm on my midterm break. Haha. But everyone else is.
You're also a parent.
Yeah, so I'm never on a break. So anyway, Gwyn, having just said, oh, if only we could have burnt some actual men, you hear a cough, and looking over your shoulder, you see Mayor Sauvray, and he looked at you and says, I can honestly say we are genuinely relieved to see that you're here. I heard this morning that you had returned. As I'm sure you've gathered, the entire town thought you were dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not, thankfully.
I can
very much alive.
Yes, excellent. Well, this is good. You obviously heard of the ogre attack.
Yeah, and Gwyn kind of, comes back down to reality a bit. Yes.
We lost 2 good men.
I'm sorry we weren't here.
It's not your fault. We lost 2 good men. We would have lost many more if it wasn't to be honest, the actions of Dubois. He is an obnoxious oaf at times, but he is a crack shot with that rifle of his. And that is just a simple statement of fact. But the creature, we know it's been in the forest. We can hear its bellows, and it has attacked some of the farms in the area, taking livestock, sheep, cattle, and so forth. While it's obviously been healing from the wounds that it received in its fight, we are expecting it to return. We don't know when. Mademoiselle Zweizig, you probably know more about these creatures than anybody else here. Do ogres and other giant kin have enhanced regenerative abilities? Would it be like it suffered a wound to its hand, shot through by a rifle shot, and a gash across its brow, as well as another number of minor injuries during the battle? How long would you expect a creature like this to take to heal and be ready to attack again? And would a creature like this wait till it's fully healed, or just until it's able to hold a weapon and then go on a rampage again?
You as the narrator, would I know this?
You can definitely. I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you an intellect roll, and I'm gonna give you advantage on this, because while I don't see Fey lore on your character sheet, no, because you specialize in things like giant killing and group fighting instead of taking that, you definitely know about giant kin. So I'm gonna give you, this is like your area of specialization as a Swiss guard. So I'm gonna say you've actually got a +7 to this roll. Because I'm giving you
that's with the intellect
and
then
memory and memory. I'm giving you an
I
additional.
rolled a 12, so that's what, a 19. No.
Yeah, that's right, 19. Yeah, because as I said, it's a +2 with intellect and memory, but I'm giving you advantage on this, which is an additional +5, so 19. So what you would know of giant kin is you know little bits about certain Fey, and certain Fey are said to have magically regenerative abilities and can heal from injuries really quickly. Giant kin, you've heard talk that trolls maybe can, but you're not sure. The biggest thing about the giant kin, what are you talking about, a mountain giant or a troll or an ogre, is they're just really strong and really, really tough, powerful creatures. So the reality is, a wound like this, it's probably pretty close to fully healed by now. Because if this happened about 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, even if its hand isn't fully healed, it's probably getting close to being healed enough that it will be able to use its sword. So you could recount that to the mayor that probably in the next day or two the creature will be fully able again. So yes.
So yeah, I tell him this.
Okay.
I'm not gonna repeat it.
No, of course, yeah. So what would yes, Aminata?
So I have a question. Would this be one of the first times we've probably heard Mina's last name?
No, you would have heard it. No, she's not. That's not something that she hides. It's for your ears. It's kind of a weird name because it's Swiss German, so it sounds
I
kind
have
of.
been spelling it to the gendarme there.
Yeah, no, yeah. So she had fully So no, she hasn't been hiding this information at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'll definitely want to make a note of that just in case I hear mention of such a name.
Yeah, no, of course, absolutely. So yeah, Mayor Sauvé says so. We've called for the army. Now, obviously, our military forces are still recovering from the war 6 months ago. They've promised soldiers, but we don't know when. We've a few gendarmerie have come from some of the other towns. They arrived about a week maybe after the attack. So we've got maybe 5 or 6 gendarmerie currently here. Dubois has been staying around. He hasn't been going off traveling like he normally does. But and and you saw the defensive structures that we've been erecting around the town.
Yes.
How much good they would do against one of these beasts. I saw the creature myself. It was monstrous.
So there are people from the army coming here.
That's what we've been promised. Soldiers. But who knows when they would actually arrive. If I am completely honest with you, Mademoiselle, I would not be at all surprised if we had killed the creature before they actually arrived. So, but nonetheless, Mademoiselle Zweizig, you're the expert here. You are a Swiss guard. What would you recommend? That we wait for the creature to come to us? That we go into the forest after the creature itself? That we set up some sort of a watch between the forest and the town to warn us? We could certainly have some men posted along the roads that the ogre might come from and give them arcanograms so they could send instant messages back here. What would you recommend?
So, Neil, my guess is that, like, if we will go and deal with that, we will go and try to find, like, we would try to track it, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I was like, yeah, we would try to track it, so if we maybe get a couple of people together and try to...
I could certainly,
Yeah.
I could certainly arrange for, we could maybe send 2 or 3 gendarmerie with you and Dubois and keep the remainder of the men behind just in case we need them, in case you are not successful.
Sylvia would have some experience with fighting giants and giant king.
Well, now that the cat is out of the bag on what you were doing before you became a druid, you did fight ogres and giants in the war, and they were terrifying. The ogres were like 3.5, nearly 4 meters tall, terrifying creatures that would just like freeze a man's heart. Just to look at them was like finding yourself face to face with a wolf, with an apex predator.
Yeah, Sylvia is going to say that at this point, just, well, it's no use keeping quiet now, but I have some experience in fighting giant kin.
Oh,
You do?
You want to come along?
Yeah, I think that I should, just because I have direct experience, unfortunately. So they're quite.
I will definitely go as well.
we can.
I won't.
Yeah.
I won't bore you with the detail, but it's not pleasant.
Well, I saw.
And just squeezes Sylvia's arm and says, I'll go too.
I go too.
Sylvia like tenses up, just very much in a "what the fuck are you doing, touching me" kind of thing.
I would expect.
She's not going to
nothing
say
less.
anything, but it's very much like, "what the fuck."
So Mary Sauvé says, "Well, I will go directly to Dubois' house. We will arrange first thing tomorrow morning for your group with. I will see how many gendarmerie I can certainly send you at least 2, maybe 3 gendarmerie with Dubois, and you can head to the forest to try to track down this creature. Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. On the one hand, I am very, very concerned about what may happen if you go into the forest. It's not just an ogre in there. There are many other fey creatures in there. And the last time you went in there, we did not see you for 3 weeks.
So it should be fine.
What was that, Sylvia?
I said, this time we won't go into the Fey Realm, so it will be fine.
Yes, please.
We'll try our best.
We can plan for it if we can help it, we won't. Yeah.
I will want to keep some of the gendarmerie here just in case.
Of course.
Just in case. Obviously, we are hopeful that you are successful. But anyway, okay. Well, I will leave you all to your revelries and your political activism, he says, looking at Gwyn. And, bonjour.
Such a menace.
And he politely nods his head and turns and leaves the inn. At this stage, the girls that you are drinking with are getting pretty oiled up because the wine is like Mina went up and dropped the gold. So like, you know, there's some
Drinks for the single ladies.
Yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely. What? Okay, so the mood from the
Guilty isn't a
girls.
thing in that time period yet, so yeah.
So
So the girls would all be pretty oiled up. So the mood over there would be quite joyous, festive, whereas in our little corner it's a bit more dim and somber, is it?
give me, and you're very good at this, Aminata. Okay, so you can give me. Let me see. So you can give me either. You can give me. We'll say awareness. Okay. And you have. Okay. Give me awareness, and we'll see how well you do. Okay. You don't have behavioralist or empathy, but you do have keen eyes. So screw it. I'll be generous and I'll allow that.
Okay, so that's a 19.
Okay, I'm gonna say yet again, target number was 14. So you beat the roll by 5, which is the number of feat points you need for your revealing insight feat.
Ooh, nice.
So,
Very good.
you're scoping out the group, and you can see with that role, the town girls are just having lots of fun, and they're like, yeah, screw this, and you know, two of the girls are snogging each other in the corner. They're like, we don't need men, you know, screw men. Gwyn is like, Gwyn looks like she's about to jump on the table and start like, you know, exclaiming some sort of, you know, like speech to the masses. Yeah.
This is my feminist manifesto.
Yeah, Mina is like enjoying it, but also like slightly more because she is the conservative Catholic, slightly shocked, not by the girls snogging, but just by the general chaos, but also is enjoying it herself as well. Justine, you can see she's very contemplative, but she's been like this basically since the encounter with the dryad who told her about her brother, and Sylvia, you see she has got how would Sylvia look to somebody who has just incredibly good insight and empathy and is really seeing into her?
So there's a certain amount, like she's not tense. There's a certain amount of, like, she's not in no way uncomfortable with the environment. This would be an environment she'd be very comfortable and familiar with. But that's part of the problem right now. She'd be very, like, she's got absolutely this whole fuck everything, get really drunk, like, which is 100% her jam, and she looks completely at ease in the environment, but that's part of the problem.
Okay.
Okay.
So she's
just sitting there. She hasn't touched her drink. She's just sitting there and she's not talking to anyone.
Yeah.
Okay. And so Mina would be just watching, Justine would be kind of leaning into it. Okay, so based on that, and based on my actual, like, regular 9-to-5 job as a diplomat, would I be able to discern what I can do in that time to kind of elevate people's moods different tactics for different people.
I'm going to say with that role, you know, you're not going to be able to cheer up Sylvia. You know, with that role, there is with that role, there is something deep affecting her right now. This is not a case of she's feeling introverted, or, you know, you're like, no, there's something definitely going on here. You're like, I could probably not cheer up, but I could probably distract Justine from worrying about her brother by getting her to get involved a bit more with the revelry. But you can see with Sylvia, there's nothing that I can. There's something going on here. This isn't just a normal funk or a bit of a downer or feeling awkward or uncomfortable around her or any, like, no. You're like, no, there is a deeper something happening right now. Sylvia's always a bit distant with everybody. She's not a very warm and loving person. You assume you actually probably kind of thought, oh well, she's Prussian, you know. But yeah, but this is
Yeah.
yeah, because she is Prussian. But it's like, no, this is definitely, this is beyond. Let's have some fun. There's something else going on here.
Okay, cool. So on that note, what I'd probably try and do is encourage the kind of general activities. I'd make sure Mina has a space they can retreat to in case things get overwhelming. Justine, I'll throw them head first into the party to try and get spirits up, while making sure that I give them reassuring squeezes to let them know that, you know, I know there's a lot more going on, but we're in this together. Gwen, I will be riling the fuck up. As they get on the table, I will be like, yes, you preach the gospel. And in terms of Sylvia, I'll be making sure Sylvia has like a bit of an exclusion zone, so people don't get too close, try to encourage conversation, just to give her the space in which to breathe and synthesize all of these feelings that are probably happening. And that's just how I'll carry on for the rest of the night, probably.
Okay. Right.
Can I have a look around? Do I see any of Juliet's family?
No. You do see some couples have started to trickle in, and some of the general townsfolk have come in. You're hearing people conversation. You're hearing your group being referenced many times over, that the heroes have returned, the you know, the sorceresses, the witches, the druids, the mystics. None of you are mystics, but they're calling you mystics, have returned. And it's almost like now that the town have heard that this band of heroic women who've been basically kicking Fey ass are back, people are feeling a little bit safer, a little bit more comfortable. There's, you know, as the afternoon progresses into the evening, about 7:30, it's still less than it would normally be, except for the fact that there's this group of over a dozen women who've taken over an entire corner. It's
Love it.
it's about, as I said, it's getting to about 7:30. It's beginning to get darker now. Okay. You don't see the Castilians. You've never seen the Castilian family in a bar Juliet. That time she came over. Okay. So so yeah, you're there. You're chatting to the women, and there's like this. You're talking to this young girl. Her name is Eugenie. She's kind of pretty, and she's you know, maybe a little bit younger than you. Looks maybe 17, and like she's like, oh, and your magic is so and I love your accent. I mean, your French is really good, but I love that accent that you have when you speak. And she puts her hand on your arm, and says, you're just so powerful. You're just so pretty, and you hear a noise, and you swear
They're there.
You swear that you hear a growl from behind you.
Juliet, I know.
And the girl, like, and looking, you see Juliet standing there, and she's giving daggers to this girl. Like, you were like, what the hell? And the girl lets go, and as you fully turn, Juliet just literally launches herself at you, and you barrel into the ground as the softest lips you've ever felt in your life are suddenly kissing you.
Yay!
And I think that's actually a nice place to finish this Valentine's Day session. Okay. So,
Gay Earth isn't
I
far.
fucking knew it. I knew
At
she
least
was
she's
not a
not
normal
dead.
human. I fucking knew it.
oh no, who've we lost?
Christina.
Oh,
she's there.
it's
there.
okay. You're moved around. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So anyway, sorry. Sorry again, folks, for our terrible technical problems. Hence the VOD that you're watching right now on YouTube. Hopefully next week we will be all good again. I'll need to be getting onto my internet service provider as well, I think. The first half of last Tuesday's session went up yesterday, Monday, and the second half is going up. Well, what is in the future right now for me, but will be in the current room watching this Wednesday, and then the audio from this session will be going up next week on Monday and Wednesday as well. So yeah, thanks everybody for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed this fun little session as much as we did. And next week they're probably going to be fighting an ogre, so yay.
Yes.
Bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.